Yo, YouTube, what's up? I'm Timmy's AC, part 2 of our Super Bowl preview, which is going to be ongoing for the next couple weeks. And we are talking wide receivers today. Monday, we did better QB. You guys seem to agree that it's Aaron Rodgers. We said that. So now on to wide receivers. Both these teams have pretty stacked receivers. And I look at both of them and think they have one veteran guy who's really been around for a long time. They got one younger guy. Not younger. Well, Mike Wallace is younger. Greg Jennings is more like in his prime. And then they got two other guys that are really pretty good receivers. So we got some snow up here. This is real football weather. Unfortunately, they're not going to be playing in that, but Green Bay knows how to do that. And we'll start off with their receivers. Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, and James Jones. Steelers got Hines Ward, Mike Wallace, Emmanuel Sanders, and Antoine Randall. The only two with Super Bowls on here are Hines Ward and Randall, and those are the only ones with Super Bowl experience, for that matter. AC, what's your thoughts?
Well, you're looking at two teams right here that both have definitely legitimate receivers and legitimate weapons at the wide receiver position. They're really versatile, and with the Packers, you're looking at Greg Jennings, who has been really, really on his game this postseason. Donald Driver in a veteran role with I guess you could say it's a younger receiver core. Like you said, Jennings is in his prime. Jordy Nelson, he's a little bit on the younger side, and James Jones, of course. But these receivers have really been good targets for Aaron Rodgers, and I think they're probably one of the best in the league, definitely. And the same with the Steelers, of course. But Jennings has really surprised me I wouldn't say, I guess maybe not surprised me, but he's definitely been...
He's stepped up. Yeah. I mean, I think the Steelers have the experience, and I think that's the thing on their side. And they're more versatile. You look at Driver and Jennings, and you say, they're both really good receivers. Hines Ward is more of a possession receiver, get the first down, hit you in the mouth, fight for those extra yards. Mike Wallace is more the Deshaun Jackson, burn you down the field for a 60-yard touchdown type, which I think is very versatile to a team. The Steelers are able to go up and down the field, side to side. Antoine Randall won a Super Bowl. And an interesting thing with the Steelers receivers is they can throw, too. Randall and Hines Ward were both quarterbacks in college and high school, so that's another thing going for them. That being said, I mean, when it comes down to Driver or Ward, who's more talented? Probably Driver, but Hines Ward, I like his style more and the way he plays the game. Greg Jennings is clearly superior to Mike Wallace, who's a very good receiver in his own right. But the depth the Packers have is just amazing. James Jones, I saw on Countdown this year that the Packers say he'd be a number one receiver on a lot of teams. Jordy Nelson, he's a pretty solid young receiver there too. The Steelers got Randall who's been there before. He won a Super Bowl in 05 or 06, whatever year they played the Seahawks. He got paid by the Redskins, who throw cash down the toilet every single offseason. Didn't work out there, but now he's back. It's working out again. Sanders, again, nice receiver. Nothing special, but he's a nice receiver. So, I mean, you're nitpicking trying to pick which one's better because they really both have pretty solid receiving cores.
Yeah, you're looking at two of the most solid receiving cores in the NFL. Like you said, the depth with the Packers, but the Steelers, I think, have definitely more versatile weapons, and we've seen that in past postseason play, especially with that Randall throwing the ball, and Mike Wallace, who is always a deep threat, and even Hines Ward, who is, like you said, more of a third down receiver, got some really good hands. He almost plays like a tight end, in my opinion. He's always anxious to throw a block, and I think I also like his style of play because he's definitely not your typical wide receiver. But yeah, definitely you're looking at more experience, Super Bowl experience from Randall and Hines Ward, and a lot more playoff experience from all these receivers on the Steelers side. But when you go head-to-head with these receiving cores, I'd say they're close to even at this point.
Yeah, we're talking better wide receivers between the Packers and Steelers. Super Bowl 45, kashkellyandac Sports Report. All this being said, let's go through a few scenarios. Let's say last drive of the game, Rodgers has the ball in his hand, or Roethlisberger. Which receiving core would you rather throw to?
Which receiving core would I rather throw to? I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one because they can run more plays because they're more versatile, and Hines Ward always makes the big catches when they count. And if you're looking to cover the short throws and the little hook routes and all of that, you look at Mike Wallace and you say, hey, you got to pick him up at some point. Otherwise, Ben Roethlisberger's going to go over the top and throw right to him for a touchdown. So I think I take the Steelers in a 2-minute drill.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a full 2 minutes, I'm taking the Steelers because the hit and miss with them. I mean, we haven't even said guys like Antonio Brown, who had that huge catch to basically win the game for the Steelers that on the 3rd and 18 or whatever it was, the huge catch against the Ravens. You know, if it's less than that though, I think I might take the Packers receivers. If you're talking a minute 10, I might take the Packers because the Steelers are going to be a hit and miss team, especially with Wallace. I mean, as we've seen with deep threats like Jackson and Wallace and Santana Moss. I mean, there's no one out there they don't show up necessarily every game, and they can disappear at any time. And I mean, I feel more confident. If I need a touchdown, yeah, I'll probably take the Steelers. If I need a field goal, I'll take the Packers because I'm confident they can maneuver it down the field and win the game. That's my thought. Another scenario I'm thinking here, you got 5 minutes, you're up by 7. Which side would you rather have?
You're up by 7 points with 5 minutes to go. Well, you got to look, if you're actually, in the fourth quarter, if you're up by 7, you're not really throwing the ball regardless.
No, wait, let me rephrase that. You need a first down, and I mean, neither of these teams, we saw the Packers are not going to be a running team no matter what, and the Steelers are not. I mean, they threw to win that game against the Jets. They sealed the deal with throwing the ball. So you're in that position. Let's say you're up by 3. You're up by 3. So, you know, it'd be nice to add points, but your main goal is just to kind of wear time off the clock and hope your defense can kind of hold up. If the other team gets the ball back and is able to score, they win the game, though. So, that being said, which core would you rather have in that scenario?
If you're looking to protect the ball, I say you got to go with the Packers in this one, just because they can, like you said, maneuver better down the field and they can pick up short yards when it really counts. So, I think you got to go with the Packers if you're looking to keep the ball and keep a lead.
I would go with the Steelers here. Mike Wallace is the type of guy that you're going to expect something short, you're going to expect a run. You can go deep in that situation. Then you can also just go for the 6 or 7 yard pass to Hines Ward. And at this point, you need to bring in running backs and tight ends. I mean, Heath Miller's a clear advantage over who the Packers have out, which I quite frankly, off the top of my head, don't know. I mean, Jermichael Finley, if he's in there, then yeah, that would be advantage Packers. But Heath Miller's a pretty underrated tight end in this league. Mendenhall's probably a better pass catcher out of the backfield than who the Packers have. And Jackson and Bubba Sparks or James Starks, whatever that guy's name is. Yeah, I mean, again, these two scenarios, we're both talking, you're in a good situation if you have these two receiving cores. I think that's the bottom line.
Absolutely. These two receiving cores, they're mostly reliable for the most. And they're both legitimate deep threats, and they're very versatile. But yeah, you're looking at two of the best receiving cores in the NFL with these two teams, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard people say this, you know, recent Super Bowls, we've seen a 17-14 Giants win. We saw, I don't know, it was like 21-17 in the Steelers-Packers. Last year, you know, I know it was 31-17, but it really was closer than the score indicates because Manning throws the pick six to Tracy Porter late in that game. This could be a higher scoring Super Bowl is what I'm getting at. And these two teams met, I believe, last year. AC believes that they've played last year, not this year, and I agree with that. We've had some discussion about that in the last couple of days, though. Anyway, I would think that this could be... These two teams met last year, and it was like 37-36. So from all indications, you would tend to think that this is going to be a higher scoring game. That being said, though, I mean, in '08, who saw the Patriots not being able to go out there and put up more than 14 points? You're talking about one of the most prolific passing offenses in NFL history that year. 50 touchdowns, 22 touchdowns for Randy Moss. I mean, that was an incredible thing. It seemed like they just threw the ball well, yet they only scored 14 points. And I think both these teams come in with the types of defenses that should be able to stop them. So I'm not going to give away my whole Super Bowl preview here, and I'm about to do it, so I'm going to stop talking. I'm Tim, he's AC, it's the Cash Kelly and AC Sports Report. February 5th, National Watch Cash Kelly and AC Sports Report Day. You got to break 11,000 views, and I will throw a pizza party at my house and put it up on YouTube. I'm Tim, he's AC. We'll see you later.